What's up, guys? It's Austin here again after another day of trading, up $812 today. I was up pretty much the same amount yesterday. So back to back, really good green days for me here. And things are kind of just rocking and rolling right now, and I'm going into the weekend green every single day this week and finishing Thursday and Friday off with two back-to-back significant green days, and that is awesome. I actually finished this this afternoon. I stepped away from trading, and I was up about $550, and then I had one trade in the afternoon that I'm going to show you here in a second. I recorded it, and I think you guys will really like this one because there's substantial risk, and well, you'll see in a second. But first, I want to just thank everyone that's watching this right now for leaving the thumbs up and just watching, and you know, this is what I do. I day trade on thinkorswim, and I go over my trades, and I think, you know, a lot of you guys find this helpful, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are day trading with thinkorswim, and so I think there's a lot you can learn from kind of these trades, and I'm making it work. You know, I'm making it work here, and up $812, up 800 yesterday, and green every single day this week. And you can certainly watch all my past videos on you know, monthly recaps. I've certainly had my low points as well, and but this is what I do, and if this is what you're, you know, if you're interested in this kind of thing, I highly recommend subscribing, and I appreciate all you guys out there that are watching this right now. All right, so let's get into the trades, and I really want to, I'm going to do my thing with the black screen here and open this guy up so that I don't make any mistakes with the account number being shown, because it is here in the recording. So I'm going to show you guys this, and this is just, look at this trade. And again, this is the trade that I took in the afternoon here. And so let me minimize this. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to pause this here. So let me kind of give you some context. This is an afternoon trade. I was already up about $550 or so on the day. So I wasn't looking to take a lot more risk, but I liked what I saw here. So I see this coming down, and I'm looking to catch a bounce because this has come down quite a bit, and volume is starting to come in, and I was looking to catch that bounce. And this was really just kind of a teaser trade. It seems really extended to the downside, so I'm in for 50 shares. Not a lot of risk right there. But as you can see already at this point in the clip, I'm down. I was already down $50 on the stock from a trade earlier on in the day. But on this trade, I'm down $90 so far with just 50 shares. And so I'm watching this one, and I'm thinking, wow, how much lower can this go? You know, and it just keeps pushing lower and lower and lower. And this, there seemed to be no bid side in this stock. There were no buyers here, and we just kept going down. And we have a really big red candle here, and then look at this candle. Wow. Airbnb, man, did it take a tumble in the afternoon. And when I was watching this come down, before I even put in these 50 shares, I took a look at the ES and the SPY and what they were doing, because I wanted to see it. Well, is the market like crashing right now? You know, because that's important to context to know before you take a trade. Is the market moving in this direction? Is this just a market related move? And it wasn't. The market was you know, barely, really not much activity was going on there. And this thing was just crashing out of nowhere. There were no buyers in Airbnb. No one wanted to buy this stock with, I suppose, with COVID and everything. I mean, you know, there's some sense to it, but given that it was holding up throughout the day and had pretty low volume and just consolidating, this kind of flash crash out of nowhere, $10, was just kind of crazy. So you're gonna see what happens here in a second, but let me show you here. I actually look right there. Look at that. I actually enter for 200 more shares right there, and I'm in at 135.88. So I'm taking on way more risk now because I've just put 200 shares more in. So why am I doing that? Well, look at the volume that's coming into this name right now. 200,000 shares per candle. Look at, you know, what's going on throughout the day. This is a real move that's going on right now. But look at how parabolic and look at how vertical this move is. When you have a move like this, you know, once those buyers step up, there's going to be a squeeze, like, you know, it's going to be like V-shape, because those buyers are going to step in. All the shorts are going to start covering like crazy, and there's going to be that rip reaction. But when I went long for 200 shares right there, all I'm really trying to do is just catch that quick bounce, that quick that quick bounce back up, catching some sort of bid, and then carrying it upside. When you have these large red candles like this, it's very these are very sensitive to any sort of bid that's coming through. So you're gonna see what happens. There we go. That is exactly what I was looking for. That squeeze back up, and then you catch buyers, and you see I put this order in, and look at that, with 200 shares in at 135.88. I was down on it. Let's go back a second here. You'll see here on just 50 shares, I'm already down. I'm down on it $260 on just 50 shares right here, and then all of a sudden, 200 shares, and I'm able. You see it. It was green there for a second. Where was that? Where was that? Right there. Look at. I'm green on it now. As it comes up, I'm green. I mean, these numbers are changing like crazy, but because I've put significant risk back on. But I was trying to get out. Well, I didn't get filled, and I ended up canceling it. I see that buyers are starting to come in now, and let's see what happens here, because we know when these things bounce, they will bounce. And but look at this. This is just crazy. It actually comes all the way back down and makes a new low. And guys, I talk about the iron hands and having the iron hands. Look at this right here. Down $488 at the low of this candle here on this trade. Down $539 on the name, and that would put me not red on the day, but certainly close. Just barely green on the day if I were to stop out here. But now let's play it out and see what happens here. So it comes down, makes that new low, and boom, now we're getting some green activity here. And we know that when these things push up, they can squeeze, and all the shorts are now are you know, starting to panic. And remember, everyone's making these decisions very quickly, and you know, there's a lot of stress and anxiety certainly on my side, but you got to think about everyone else that's in this trade too. And I want to be the one that's catching the move that's about to come, not the move that is just ending. And the move that's just ending is the move to the downside, and the move that's just starting is the move back up, and that is the move that I want to participate in, is the move higher. So this is where I make a really good decision here. Before I put that order in to get out of my 200 shares on that quick pop back up, I put my order in to get out of all 200. Why? Because we could still see a continuation lower, and this you know, this parabolic move lower could still be you know, in full effect. So if I'm able to get that push back up, that quick push back up, I want to take my profit when I can. But now what we're seeing is different. Now we're seeing a green, potentially a green engulfing candle, and potentially the start of a more significant reversal higher. So I still want to take quite a bit of shares here, because obviously anything can happen. But this looks like a nice big red candle down, and a huge green engulfing candle looks like it's about to form here. And if that's the case, we're likely to see some continuation higher. So for the rest of this, I'm just going to kind of pan forward like this. You see I get out of another 50 there. Zoom in here. So I'm out. I only have 50 shares left. I'm waiting for a little bit higher to get out of my last 50. You got to be patient with these, right? You got to be patient. It's easy to say, oh man, I just had so much risk and I got to get out. But look what happens here. Boom, there's some continuation higher. And I get out there at 139, and of course, spoiler alert, after this it does continue significantly higher than this. But what's the important thing? I made a profit on that trade, and a big one, $270. If you remember at the beginning of the video, or as I said, I was down $50 on this name before I took this trade. Now I'm up 227. Why? Because I averaged down on basically the low of the move, the low of this huge parabolic move lower that provides that bounce higher. As sharply as you come down is as sharply as you're going to bounce off that point. It's exactly because you have all those shorts pouring in. You see the volume here, 300,000 shares. And I mean, watch as this candle forms here. Watch as this candle forms here. Look at this now. 100,000, 150,000, 159, 170. I mean, the volume here is just going nuts, and that gives you a clue as, you know, this is not sustainable action, and we're going to catch a bid here, and there's going to be that bounce, and I want to be catching the move that's about to happen, not the one that's just slowing, that's just ending, you know, the one that's already happened. I want to be the one in the move that's about to happen. So anyway, that was that trade there on Airbnb, and that one I thought was really interesting, and I'm glad that I got the recording of it as well. That one was one you can learn from, and I don't recommend trading like that. Don't get me wrong. I don't recommend buying into big sell-offs. But when you see moves like that happen with that kind of volume and those big irrational panic sell-offs, I've talked a lot over the last couple of days about being a buyer in those, taking advantage of those imbalances, and again, it's about looking for the move that is about to happen, not the one that is just ending, and being a part of that reversal, and that's something that I've been repeating for quite a while now. All right, so Tesla, I was up, even more on Tesla, and unlike yesterday and the day before, where my trades were actually showing up on the chart, today they're not showing up. This is just glitched, and I don't know what to say. And so I'm not going to go into my order list and look exactly at all my trades on Tesla. I probably only traded it a couple times. Now, what I can tell you is I went long. I'll tell you what I remember, and what I remember is I went long on one of these candles here. Probably on this one or this one of these two candles, I went long, and I caught this rip all the way up here, and I think my last exit was up here, and that put me up on Tesla quite a bit. Went long 100 shares and took profit. Then the more interesting long that I have, and that was a good trade. That was pretty nice, because you have this low here, a lower low, and then seeming to make an even lower low, and then looking for that rip through VWAP ultimately, and that's exactly what we got. But then I wasn't really watching Tesla. I didn't trade it at all in here, but as it did start to sell off rather sharply, that's when I started looking at it again, because when you have those sell-offs, I want to be a part of the reversal back to the upside, and they don't always happen, don't get me wrong, but often in these kind of bearish sell-offs is when you have the most bullish reversals and the most bullish pullbacks. So here's like a pullback, but look at this. I mean, this is one that I traded. I was in on this candle. I believe I was in on this candle. Actually, wait a minute now. I think I might have been. I think I was in here or something, and then I cut the position, and then I added again here and caught this rip back up, or I don't remember, but I was trading somewhere in here, and I was able to make a cheeky profit off of this reversal here, and again, that's what I want to be a part of, is those reversals higher, and it actually comes back down and makes a new low, but then what happens? All the way back up to 615 with Tesla. So this downward move was really just a overlap of what was happening in the overall market at the time. So remember this time right here. This is 12 o'clock to 12:30. Now let's look at what was happening in the SPY from in that time. It's a literal copy. So that gives you a clue of, like, it's not really Tesla moving, right? It's just the market moving, and that context is important when you're going to take a trade, because you don't want to be trading long into stocks that are relatively weak, but also understanding and just having watched stocks for a while, and watching different names, stocks trade differently and behave differently. And Tesla, one of the things I've noticed is it has the ability to sell off, in the morning, especially in the morning, and then recover and make miraculous new highs, by the end of the day. It has that ability, and certainly that was something that I was looking for here. Now, I did not trade this one at all after I think I caught this move and was out, and I did not trade it all the way in here, but I was looking for that reversal here, and I think I just got out of the trade. I often don't hold them to get the entire move. If this one I had held, it would have made a lower low, and I think I was holding 25 shares. I think I got my last 25 shares out as it made a new low here, but it was still a winning trade because I took 100 here and took most profit here, something like that. But all in here, I just didn't trade it. But remember, this is something you absolutely can trade because you have that parabolic move lower and then that move higher, and we got the same thing in Airbnb today with this. I mean, put this in relative terms. Look at this sell-off. I mean, this is severe. But it's just so rare that these crazy, vertical line sell-offs happen without significant bounce. And look at this, it retraces, over 50% of the move. So again, these sell-offs, you can buy into them just as long as you're smart, and you kind of know, you have a sense of when to pull the trigger. And at that 135 level, I really thought it was time to pull the trigger because we're getting crazy amounts of volume here now, and at some point, if you can bottom wick this, you're gonna be sitting real pretty. Okay, so I don't want to bore you guys, going through all the trades I took today because as you can see, I traded a number of different names, but I can kind of go into hyper speed here. Disney, I had one trade on this, and it was a short on the very first candle here. I saw this thing pop up. I was watching this one right off the bat, obviously, and I saw this one pop up, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like wanting to short this thing. Had my finger on join the ask as it came up here, excuse me, and I was gonna do it. I swear to God, I was gonna do it, and then it came down. It became a red candle, and I was like, dang it! Like, I knew it. Like, this thing needs to pull back. I knew it. My idea was shorting it, and that's like the worst, is when you had the right idea and you just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger, and then it worked, and then the trade just would have fallen into your lap. So anyway, I was like, screw it. You know what? I'm not gonna do what I normally do, because what I normally do is I say if I don't get that best entry where I wanted it, and then I'm not gonna take the trade. But this one I did take the trade because I knew that I really felt confident that this one was gonna need a pullback. And again, it's that trade-off. If I enter it here, then this is a big green candle, and I'm getting in on a short position where it looks like it's making new highs and it looks really bullish, and everything like that. And there's no evidence that the trade that I think is going to work out other than the fact that I think that overall it's just extended in the pre-market and it needs a pullback. That was my bias on it. But other than that, what would give you the idea that taking a short here would be a good idea? Versus, so that's one side. Versus, you wait for this to become a huge topping tail and a bearish candle. You get a worse entry, but you have a better idea that the pattern that you were looking for to work is working. So you can take both sides of it. Some traders say that they trade on the break of a level after it breaks, so you have the confirmation that it's broken the level. And other traders say no, you want to trade in the anticipation that it's going to break that level, so you get the better entry. But you don't know that it's actually going to break yet. So again, it's that trade-off. So I don't say that one is necessarily better than the other. I think it depends on the trade. And here, and I was out on this one, I was perfectly fine getting in at a slightly worse price in exchange for the information that this is actually looking like it's going to work. So again, I shorted it here. This was the first trade that I took. I suppose I could look at what my exact entry was here. You can see this was my first trade on the day. Short 100 shares, 168.47. 168.47. So as it's coming down here, I actually got down here on the second candle I got in. Okay, so I was in here, and then it broke lower and came all the way down to 165. I think I got out before this candle here, or on this, somewhere in this candle. I'm not exactly sure, but I made 155 bucks on that trade. So good stuff. So that was kind of Disney, and Tesla and Airbnb, and those are my three biggest winners. So I might just leave it at that. SNOA was really interesting as well. Actually, this one was interesting because I wish it would show you my trades on it. I was up $105 on it. Then I took a trade on where did I take a trade? I took a trade on this dip, and it dipped further than I would have liked, and I had to cut the position, and at that point I was only up about $39 on it. Then I took a trade somewhere in here, and was back up to like $80, and then took another trade and was back up to 105. It was a really interesting thing. It was like, wait a minute, okay, I was like up 105 on it somewhere. I took a trade somewhere in here, and was up like 105 on it. And then I think I took a dip trade on this candle. I think I took a dip trade on this. Like, it was a green candle, and then it dipped down, and then I sold. It was a really quick scalp on a dip in a green candle, and I made $105 on it. And there was a really weird thing because I was watching it. Look at this key level, by the way, 1334. Notice how this line is red. This line, I don't even know how old this line is, because sometimes I just leave my drawings on the chart. This line, I did not put this here today. I did not put this here this week. I did not put that there this month. That line has been there, and I left it there today because I'm watching this and I'm like, yeah, this is a key level, 1334. I mean, look at this. It's trying to break this level. You got all these wicks here. I'm telling you guys, price levels are no freaking joke. I mean, I've had this here forever, and coincidence that it's failing here? I think not. And ultimately we get the break of that, and it comes down, acts as support. Coincidence that this 1 minute candle opens and closes right above this price and these wicks below? I don't know. I do not know. But anyway, so this was interesting because I was up 105 on it on my first trade, and then I was down to $30, and then I was back up to 105. And it's just kind of interesting because like 105 is a really random number, and I don't know. It was like a roller coaster because I was just kind of nervous on this one, and like, I don't know, $30, $100, like there's only a $70 difference, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world. It wasn't like it wasn't crazy, but I was watching this one for a good amount of time, and small caps have been pretty good over the last few days, so I've been more open to trading small caps. I don't usually trade small caps. I'm not usually looking to trade small caps because they're so just crazy and unreliable, and I'm typically just not a fan of really trading them. But because of the action we've seen over the last few days, I was open to it today and made $105 on it. The CERT IPO, oh man, I missed out, man. Made $37 on it. I was watching this thing on like the first minute, and I had a long, I remember my price too. I got long at 31.22. 31.22 I was long. So right here, I was long. I think on this first candle here I got long, and then where did I get out? I took some profit on this candle as it came up, but mostly I stopped out on this red candle as we got this pullback. And you can look at this chart now and go, why would you do that? But you have to understand, it's all relative. When I'm looking at it here like this, these candles look really big, and we don't quite know the range of it yet because it's just an IPO'd. So again, it's all relative, and at this moment in time, these candles look really big, and I just didn't want to make a loser out of it. I didn't want to go red on it, and so even though at the top of this candle I was up like $200 on the trade, took a tiny bit of profit, really wanted to see it move higher, and then we get this disappointing red candle that comes all the way down here, and I kind of stop out on the rest of my shares because I didn't want to go red on it. I wanted to be up on this stock at least. Well, we get two bottom wicks here, a nice continuation, and it bull flags and explodes and ultimately halts at 37.30, and it just, so how much money did I leave on the table? A lot. But what are you gonna do? it looked like it was coming back down. And these, first few candles, it didn't really look too strong, but it was quite strong. But anyway, so that's kind of all I really want to go over today. Peloton was my only losing trade. I don't know why I even took a trade on it. It had really low volume, but I was watching it, and Peloton has been kind of it's an old friend of mine, because even to this day, it is my most winning stock. In October, I traded the heck out of Peloton, and I seem to be winning like crazy on it until November, where I had over a $3,000 loss on Peloton. So love-hate relationship with that one. But anyway, so $812 on the day. I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you found that video of that Airbnb trade helpful, and I hope that I've earned your thumbs up, and I hope that you guys will subscribe if you think this is helpful, and if you're interested in watching my recaps in the future. Again, if you have any questions or want to chat or anything like that, I have a Discord server. The link is in the description, as always, and I'm always in there answering questions, and I'm welcome to a chat. So that's it from me. I hope you guys are green on the day, on the week, and I look forward to kind of cooling off this weekend, but then coming back on Monday, and all guns blazing. No, just looking to continue the good vibes in December. I'm looking for that momentum to continue. All right, guys, that's it for me, and I'll be back at it Monday.